Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Daksh. Tired? Yawning?
Ma'am, are you saying something?
You were yawning, that's why I'm asking you. Are you tired?
No, ma'am.
That's wonderful. So we will.
Ma'am, I am ready.
You are ready. What are you saying, Daksh?
Ma'am, I am ready.
You are ready. That's wonderful.
And we will start from Kamingo, British, and
We'll
French
start
powers.
from, yeah, we'll start from that. Let everybody join.
And this map is, ma'am, of which?
Which map, beta?
Yeah, ma'am, this map is of world map of
Which,
physical or politics.
which one?
This map, page number 74.
Just give me a moment, I'll see that. How many of you have witnessed snowfall, children?
What?
Have you witnessed snowfall?
And where?
In Bareilly?
Bareilly, snowfall.
It never snows in Bareilly, but you know, yesterday the weather was very gloomy, and you know, from yesterday on, it's snowing like
Yes, ma'am.
in Uttarakhand.
No, yes, ma'am.
Has turned
No,
into a
ma'am.
heaven. It has literally turned to a heaven.
Ma'am, where in Uttarakhand?
Nainital, Ranikhet, Mukteshwar, snowing, proper snow.
Muktesh.
Hanji?
Okay. Ma'am, Haridwar, Dehradun.
Yeah, even in Shimla it's snowing. I'm not sure about Dehradun, but in Shimla I saw some clips in Shimla. It's also snowing. It's snowing. It has turned into a heaven, like white snow heaven. Right, kids. Now let's come back to our heaven. Okay, so we didn't tell Jagidari crisis yesterday, and Hamad is taking extra precaution. Hamad, why the mask is on? Why this mask is on, Hamad? That's great. You know that's how we have to take. And shouldn't tell you one thing. Did you understand the difference between epidemic, endemic, and pandemic?
Between I was by mistake disconnected. So, ma'am, what you are telling?
I'm asking. Have you understood the difference between endemic, pandemic, and epidemic?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yesterday I shared also.
What are you asking?
On the group.
I sent something in the group yesterday, Sushant.
Yes, ma'am, yesterday.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, epidemic is a disease that affects a large number of people within a community population region, whereas endemic is a disease is described as endemic when it continues to be present within a given geographical area, but its impact is minimal. Pandemic is a larger epidemic. A pandemic covers several countries or spreads from one continent to another.
Thank you so much. We knew that. So is corona a pandemic or an endemic or whatever it is? What's corona?
A pandemic.
Pandemic.
What was Spanish flu?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, it was epidemic.
It was
an
epidemic.
endemic.
No,
Okay,
it was
ma'am.
only in Spain only. No, it was not outside Spain. It did not come outside Spain. So it will be an epidemic. And swine flu?
Endemic.
Why swine flu was an endemic? Why was it an endemic?
Yes, ma'am. Like for example,
it was an endemic because it was in different parts of the world, but at the same time, it was curable. People know how to cure it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now we have done till the coming of British and French powers. So then we saw how Britishers already, you know, na, when something is already
yes, ma'am.
Then something is already worse. Okay. Something is already worse at its worst. And if we just know, like putting the last nail on it, like something is already broken, and if we just put one more bang of the hammer, it will break completely. Isn't it like that? So that is the role. The role of the hammer has been, or the nail has been played by the British and the French powers. When they came at that point of time, Mughal Empire was in shatters. It was totally shattered in pieces. Like people were setting independence, that lost its charm, right? So then these people came and they proved to be the last nail in the empire's coffin. Okay, like the empire was dying, it was going to be in a grave now. So they proved to be the last nail in their coffin, and that's how after it the British became the masters of what? Of the
whole of India.
Whole of India, right? Now we'll read about the rise of regional powers. Now, when this happened, when the Mughal power broke into pieces, it got shattered. Then many, like I showed you the map the other day, I showed you in the map that many of other kingdoms came up: the Rajputanas, the Jats, Bengal, right?
Ma'am, Awadh in UP and Buxar in Bihar
Exactly.
and
Right?
Bengal.
Right. So now we'll read about the rise of regional powers. Like that's what they have mentioned, that various autonomous states came. What's the meaning of autonomous? I have explained it yesterday.
Ma'am, MP was also covered by Sindhia.
What
Like
is the meaning
Gwalior.
of autonomous? First, tell me that.
Ma'am, shining.
Shining. Autonomous, I told
I'm
it.
sorry, ma'am, rising. Ma'am, rising.
Wrong. Utkarsh, meaning of autonomous. Everybody keep your videos on.
New.
Wrong. Athar, Sushant, meaning of autonomous.
Ma'am, ruler.
No, beta. Independent. Self-rule. Autonomous states mean they had their own rule. They rule themselves.
Ma'am, freedom.
Kind of. Freedom to rule themselves. This is the meaning. Write it down, everyone. The meaning of autonomous is a freedom to rule themselves.
Ma'am, written.
If you would have written it yesterday, you would have been in a state to answer right now. Done?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
freedom
ma'am.
I'm written.
Okay. So
I'm
various
independent.
autonomous kingdoms came, such as the Bengal under Murshid Quli Khan, Oudh under Sadat Khan Burhan ul Mulk, in Hyderabad under Nizamul Mulk Ashraf Jah, and in Carnatic under Sadatullah Khan, Mysore under Hyder Ali, Jats under Churaman and Surajmal, and 6 under Ranjit Singh. So these were the rulers who held these kingdoms to a certain.
Ma'am, we can highlight this. That
Yeah, you can highlight this because these were the rulers who held these kingdoms to assert their independence. Okay.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Yes, beta, you're audible now.
Yes, ma'am. I was asking, ma'am, we are doing chapter 10 right now.
Yes, beta. Yes, Sushant.
Okay.
Read about the Rajputs.
Okay, ma'am. The Rajputs. Many new religious kingdoms emerged after the death of Aurangzeb. The Rajputs established their independent kingdom, and Savai Jai Singh was one of the prominent Rajput rulers during 18th century. The Pink City, Jaipur, was founded by Jai Singh. He introduced many social reformers, and due to his keen interest in astronomy, he set up observation in Delhi and Jaipur to study heavenly objects.
He set up operations. Sushant.
Mama, I said observatory, sorry.
Right. So as Sushant read and told us that many regional kingdoms. Regional means kingdoms belonging to a particular region. Okay. Many regional kingdoms emerged after the death of Aurangzeb. The Rajputs established. Can you tell me the area, the region that the Rajputs have covered? Which state?
Ma'am, Nagpur.
Ma'am,
Maharashtra.
Rajasthan. Ma'am, Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, area near Rajasthan, right? So the Rajputs established their independent kingdom, and Savai Jai Singh was one of the prominent Rajput rulers. Underline it, right? Maybe, maybe? Yes, it is after his name only. The name of the city has been kept Jaipur, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do we call Jaipur the Pink City?
Because
And because
Tell me why.
it was founded by Jai Singh.
Acha, that's why you call it Pink City. It was Jason.
ma'am, ma'am, there are
Because
ma'am,
most of the
pink color.
area was covered with pink color.
Ma'am, pink color, everything, ma'am, pink color.
Ma'am, most of the area was covered with pink color. The shops, the houses, ma'am, everything.
Was
And
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
most of the cities are called
And ma'am,
with color.
Rajasthan is in desert.
oh
Desert
really?
place. Ma'am, if Bharatpur is not desert.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
Sir, good afternoon, ma'am.
आपकी morning बहुत late हुई बेटा. Where were you?
Ma'am, what?
Where were you in the previous class?
Ma'am, I have gone, ma'am. I am come. Ma'am, I have gone and my nanny house.
Very good.
Ma'am,
You missed the class.
Ma'am, I have visited Jaipur and Ajmer both.
Ma'am, I visited not Jaipur but Kota.
That's great. Okay,
Ma'am,
so Pink City
ma'am.
is Krishna.
ma'am, ma'am, I know you have done the chapter question answer. I have also done, ma'am, but you have not done, ma'am, in 50, 70 words, ma'am. Last one, ma'am, write a short note on Guru Nanak teaching.
Ma'am, how is you?
And we were missing you because we talked about you, Krishna, because I was saying that I request you to call your friends, these Pragon, Suryansh, Priyam, tell them to join the class someday. Pay visit to the class someday. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Might be in talking terms with them. Tell them that ma'am was asking you people. Kindly show your faces in the class someday. Because it has been more than a month. They
And
have not-
Paragon joined one class
which class?
when it was combined in with 7B
Once,
and
only
C.
once he came. Only once he came.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Krishna?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have done question answer, ma'am, all. Ma'am, which, ma'am, you have done in morning.
Very good. You can send them to me and check them. Okay, beta?
Ma'am, I am sending.
Okay. So Jaipur was founded by Jai Singh. That's where it has got its name from, and it is known as a pink city because the thing is that most of the buildings in Jaipur appears to be pinkish in color, right? And this Jai Singh introduced many reforms, right? Many social reforms. We have read this term n number of times. Can you please tell me the meaning of reforms? Daksh, Sushant, Krishna, Utkarsh.
Ma'am, reforms are the reformers.
Forming something again. Forming something again.
Yes, reforming something, right? So he introduced many new laws, changed many things, right? Because due to his keen interest in astronomy, he was so much interested in astronomy that he also set up observatories in Delhi and Jaipur to study the heavenly objects. What do we mean by the heavenly objects?
Ma'am, bhari
Ma'am,
theeche.
ma'am, which are
Ma'am,
yes,
heavy
ma'am,
objects.
heavy.
My goodness, you people.
Ma'am, in
Heavenly
heaven.
objects
Ma'am, in space.
refers to the planets and the other objects present in the space.
Ma'am, planets and the moons.
Planets
Ma'am,
and others.
That's what
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
going to do if you'll go to some quiz. You'll just take a
Ma'am, Swarga.
ma'am,
sure
he is
like-
gonna win.
What did
Ma'am,
you
I'm sure about
wait
it.
a minute? What did you say, Krishna? Swarg.
Yes, ma'am.
That is heaven. We're talking about heavenly objects. Heavenly objects refer to the objects.
Planet.
Ma'am, planets.
Yes. You people
Yes,
are
ma'am.
just next level you people are. When he's saying heaven.
Sorry,
then now, heavy object. Very good. Great.
I think it was heavy.
No, it's heaven.
Ma'am, I have sent.
Very good, Krishna. Okay, children. Now let's read about Jats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I read, please, ma'am?
Okay.
It's my favorite. Ma'am, the Jats lived in the areas of Haryana, Punjab, the western regions of Ganga, Yamuna, Dobs, and eastern Rajputana. The Jat rebellion started under Gokula in 1669 and ended with the formation of Bharatpur under
Okay,
Surajmal.
stop here, Daksh. First of
Excuse
all,
me, ma'am.
yes, beta.
Ma'am, Jats lived in Uttar Pradesh, also Meerut side.
Now, yeah. Okay, so basically
ma'am.
now we have intermingled. No, many of Hindus also live in Haryana. Many of they live in here. So a few.
Ma'am, Jats are Punjabi.
No, Jats are
No.
not Punjabi. Punjabis are Sikhs. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Jats are the Haryanvi people like Chaudhry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Their
Okay, ma'am.
language
Ma'am,
is
Rudra
different.
Chaudhary.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, like we have
Ma'am,
that.
they are ma'am language is different. Like
Dudh
some
Chaudhary.
Hindi, but the spellings.
Those two girls, no, who were the female wrestlers, Amir Khan's movie.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Dhakar, what was it? I forgot the name of the movie. In that they have shown
Ma'am, Dangal.
Dangal. In Dangal, those people are judges. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
The way they dress up, those people are judges.
Ma'am, where I go, so ma'am, there are very different language people speak.
Okay? That's their language is Haryanvi basically, a very different language.
Yes, ma'am. There are some mixture of Hindi in UP and the spellings mistakes. That the spellings are different.
Yeah. So the judge and Daksh, you read it very fast. We do not read like that. That I am showing you how to read. Okay. So you'll see that the judges lived in the areas of Haryana, Punjab, and the western regions of Ganga, Yamuna, Do, and eastern Rajputana kingdom. So these are the areas where the Jats are found. And Jat rebellion started under Gokula in 1669. So they started a rebellion to assert their independence under Gokula in 1669, and it ended with the formation of Bharatpur under Surajmal. Surajmal formed Bharatpur, and with this the rebellion ended and they got their independence. So Shan,
Ma'am, how they go in Agra?
how they go in Agra? We will read about that. Okay. The Jats attained political importance only in the later 17th century and early 18th century. This was a time when they become politically important, right? And the ambition of many of these was basically, yeah, the ambition of many of the Jat Zamindars of the Agra region to establish an independent principality brought them into conflict with the Mughal empires. Basically, see, we know that Agra was very important area of the Mughal Empire, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And now these Jat Zamindars wanted that in Agra, they wanted to establish an independent principality. Like they wanted to have the independent area and this and that in Agra. And the Mughal government was not ready to do that. So this brought them into a conflict with the Mughals, the Rajputs, and the Afghans. Okay.
Yeah.
And under the Churaman, okay, he was again a ruler. Under Churaman, they acquired the control over territory situated towards the west of Delhi. And you ask me how did they go to Agra? Beta, they have mentioned no that Jats are also present in western Doab of Ganga Yamuna region. That's why.
Yes, ma'am. Delhi, ma'am. They are near, ma'am. Near Delhi. Ma'am, they go Delhi first and then Agra.
Yes. For a while, they became the virtual custodians of the city. Like virtually, they have taken the custody of Agra. Badan Singh, for a nephew of Churaman, styled himself as a feudatory of Jai Singh. He used to style himself in the same way as Jai Singh used to be. He may be regarded as a real founder of the Jat state of Bharatpur, Beed, and Kumbhe. Okay, these states were founded by these areas were founded by him only. Jai Singh, Churaman.
Ma'am, these all are in Rajasthan.
Yes. Now the Jat kingdom attained his zenith. What's the meaning of zenith?
Ma'am's
Heights.
enemies fighting.
Heights, right? It reached to its peak, it reached to its heights under Surajmal, right? The kingdom expanded the most, okay, under Surajmal. He was the adopted son and successor of Badan Singh, right? He successfully welded the scattered Jat Zamindars near Agra into a powerful state. Like whosoever Jat Zamindars was scattered means bikhre hue. They were scattered in Agra. He got all of them together, okay, and he made the Rajputana kingdom and a powerful state. Clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Next
ma'am.
we have the
Ma'am, can I tell the meaning of Samindar?
Please tell.
Ma'am, I can tell in Hindi. Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, I can tell in Hindi.
No, you have to tell in English.
Ma'am, that
Ma'am,
in
this one
villages
will-
there are zamindars, so they are very rich persons and they have more land.
Yeah, basically,
And
Zamindars,
can I tell, ma'am, landlords?
landlords, simple word. Zamindars are the landlords, right?
The fund
They hire other people to work on their land, this and that. Yes. Who will read next? Krishna read. The six.
Ma'am, the
Ma'am,
six. Okay, ma'am.
First Krishna, then Amma.
The six. The Afghan defeat of the Marathas armies accelerated the breakaway of Punjab from Delhi and helped in the foundation of the Sikh overlordship in the northwest. The Sikhs had already organized themselves as a political community during the 17th century. This helped them in 18th century to carve out an autonomous state for themselves. The Sikhs rose up against the economic and political repressions in Punjab towards the end of Aurangzeb's rule. Guerrilla fighters took advantage of political instability created by the Persian and Afghans onslaught against Delhi and enriching themselves and expanding territorial control.
Stop here. Right? The Afghan defeat of the Maratha armies accelerated the breakaway of Punjab from Delhi. Right? When the Afghans defeated the Maratha armies, right? The Marathas were defeated. Now this accelerated means speed up. What's the meaning of accelerated?
The freedoms.
Speed up.
Speed up.
We have accelerator in cars.
Yes, ma'am. Speeder.
What is it used for?
Speed.
Then to speed the car.
ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
accelerator.
Yes.
Ma'am, breaker.
Acha.
Ma'am, speed breaker.
Beta, accelerator. We have accelerator in a car. We have two things at a foot now in the car while driving a
Ma'am.
car. One is the brake
Yes, ma'am.
and the other is the
Accelerator,
Ma'am,
brake,
there are
clutch.
three things.
Ma'am, clutch also.
and clutch.
Ma'am,
also.
not
Yes, ma'am.
automatic gear
That's
in cars.
also in some
Ma'am,
cars.
gear for gear
Right.
changing.
The accelerator.
In
is
some
used
cars, there are
for-
not clutch.
The accelerator is used for speeding up. Even in the scooties, we have one accelerator. No, we need
No,
two.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't have
We have
accelerator.
no accelerator.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In
Ma'am, used
handle.
for
Ma'am, in my it is not.
to speed up. Speed up.
Right. So that's what this means. Accelerated means speed up. So the Afghan defeat of the Marathas speeded up the breakaway of Delhi, like of these Punjab from Delhi. As soon as it happened, the Punjab kingdom broke itself from Delhi and helped in the foundation of Sikh overlordship. What's the meaning of this overlordship? What do you mean by overlord?
Ma'am, overload.
Ma'am,
Overlordship. Overload.
ma'am,
Ma'am, means ma'am,
Overload.
over bhakti.
No. Yes.
Ma'am, means over like where people do worship to God. More
ma'am, a
Ma'am,
lord
overtime
having
worship.
power. Ma'am, a lord having power.
Basically, for example, have you seen movie Padmavat?
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Padmavat.
Who has seen? Krishna has seen.
Ma'am, I.
Shant has
Yes,
seen.
ma'am.
So children, have you seen one thing in the movie? When Alauddin Khilji was acquiring kingdoms, right? When he was acquiring kingdoms, he was not asking them to give him the direct rule. He was like, he fought, he won the kingdom. Then he said, you rule your kingdom the way you want to, but you have to accept me as your overlord. You have to accept my authority over you, right? Which means that
Yes, ma'am.
he has become the overlord. There are other independent states also, there are other states also under his control, but those states are under
Ma'am,
his.
it's a directory.
Whenever they are going to fight with somebody, they're going to do any war, any important decision they have to take, they have to consider it first with Alauddin Khilji, and then they'll do. That's what overlordship means. Okay. This is what happened when the Sikh regiment, when the Sikh kingdom basically, you can say partitioned them when they asserted their independence. After that, in the northwest region, they established their overlordship. Right? There are many small kingdoms in the northwest. They acquired all those kingdoms under themselves, and they become their overlord. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's
Yes,
how
ma'am.
they established the Sikh empire. Okay, the Sikh kingdom. You did not understand, Hamad? If you have understood, then you can not like this, not like this. If you say this, then ma'am will understand. He has not understood.
Ma'am, I've understood. Then my neck was paining.
So your neck. Wow, Hamad. You and your excuses.
Ma'am, brain. Ma'am, he and his brain is very good.
Okay. Right. So this helps. Now Sikhs has already organized themselves as a political community in the 17th century. In the 17th century only they become politically independent, and this helped them in the 18th century to develop themselves as an autonomous state for themselves. Because of this only, because they were politically organized, so they do not need to waste time in that. So they simply started carving out, establishing an autonomous state for themselves. Yes, Daksh, what is the meaning of autonomous? Once again, you will tell me now.
Ma'am, freedom.
Freedom is the meaning
Ma'am,
of autonomous.
independence.
Freedom is the meaning of autonomous.
Independence.
Ma'am, independence.
Autonomous state means independent state.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It means independent state. A state having
Ma'am, my meaning is also same. Ma'am,
Independent.
same freedom states.
a state having the independence to rule themselves. A state having the freedom to rule itself. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Right.
Alright.
The Sikhs rose up against the economic and political repressions in Punjab towards the end of Aurangzeb's rule. When Aurangzeb's rule ended, then they started doing repressions. When they came up with economic and political repressions in Punjab, they were like, now we will not be a part of the Mughal Empire. We need our own kingdom. That's it. The guerrilla fighters. What's the meaning of guerrilla fighters? Who will tell me? Hurry up.
Ma'am, I know.
Ma'am,
the-
guerrilla
ma'am, the
fights.
member of the small state are doing fighting.
Members of the merged state doing fighting, right?
In,
The guerrilla
independent state.
Right. The guerrilla fighters took advantage of the political instability created by Persian and Afghan onslaught against Delhi, enriching themselves and expanding territorial control. Okay. The Sikhs were okay, Hamad, you read this one, then I'll explain it.
The
Ma'am, may I read?
Sikh now make a political representation in Punjab towards the end of Aurangzeb's rule.
What are you
Gorilla.
reading? Hamad, do you have, oh sorry, do you have any idea where do you have to read?
May I read?
Hamad, read from the Sikhs were persecuted.
Ma'am, by mistake, the Sikh are
Persecuted
persecuted
viciously
viciously by the Mughal government. Response Guru Gobind Singh the 10th and the last Sikh Guru transformed the Sikhs into a warrior community. Gobind Singh established the Khalsa or the Brotherhood of the Sikhs. The Khalsa gives the community a deep sense of unity founded on symbolic act.
It's Khalsa. We have just read this in the previous chapter.
Yes,
Hamad.
ma'am. Previous chapter. That Guru Gobind Singh has make the 10 people
Wait a minute, that's
committee.
quiet. Hamad, is it Khalsa? Is this the correct pronunciation?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, Khalsa.
Khalsa, it is Khalsa.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to be aware
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
environment, Hassan. Hamad, these terms are being used widely in our surroundings as well. Khalsa 8. Khalsa is a very important symbol of Sikhism. I don't know how can you pronounce these words. Right? The Sikhs were persecuted viciously by the Mughal government. The Mughal government treated the Sikhs very badly, right? They killed them, they punished them, they treated them in a very bad manner, which angered the Sikhs. Right? They were like, enough is enough. We are not going to tackle it anymore. In response to this vicious persecution only, Guru Gobind Singh, who was the 10th and the last Sikh Guru, transformed the Sikh into a war community, right? And Guru Gobind established the Khalsa or the Brotherhood of Sikhs. Khalsa was their army, right? The Sikh army. And the Khalsa gives them a community, gives the community a deep sense of unity founded in symbolic acts, right? For example, when a national symbol, national flag was made, people were just not together. They got the unity, they got the feeling of unity. Whenever we see, we got the feeling of nationalism. So that's how this Khalsa stand. We got the symbolic unity which we forgot on the basis of.
Ma'am, someone mic is open.
No, Krishna.
Krishna, beta, keep your mic off. Got it, children? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So they were very united and they were very deemed to just bring the Mughal Empire down and assert the independence. Yes, Utkarsh, read next question.
Ma'am, Marathas.
Beta, after his death in 1708,
Okay, ma'am. After his death in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against Mughal authority under Banda Bahadur's leadership. Six declared their region
Utkarsh, I cannot hear you, beta.
under Banda Bahadur's leadership. Six declared their
Utkarsh,
Ma'am,
wait.
may I read?
Beta, a lot of disturbances coming. Athar, would you read? Athar?
Ma'am, can I read?
Okay, Sushant.
Okay, ma'am. After his death in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against Mughal authority under Bandas Bahadur leadership. The Sikh declared their sovereign. Ma'am, what is written?
Sovereign rule.
Sovereign rule by striking coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh and established their own administration between Satluj and Yamuna and the Yamuna. Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and was sentenced to death at Delhi in 1716. By early 1800, the Sikhs managed to carve out an independent kingdom in Mughal Empire, which they retained until the British annexations in 1850s.
Well done, Sushant. So, children, after his death in 1708, after death, the Khalsa rose in revolt against who? After whose death in 1708? Can you please tell me? Who died?
Ma'am, Guru Gobind Singh.
Guru Gobind Singh.
After the demise of Guru Gobind Singh in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against the Mughal authority under Band Bahadur's leadership. They were like, enough. How? Like, because of them only, their leader has died. So you can just imagine the sort of aggression they had in them. Like, now either we have to kill you or to be killed. Hanji?
Ma'am, what's the meaning of revolutionary?
Revolutionary having the ideas to just do it, to just bring a revolution, to just bring a change. And the revolutionary ideas which they have, they wanted to bring this change to rule themselves and not to be ruled by others. Okay?
Okay.
Right?
They want to be freedom. They want freedom.
Yeah, they wanted freedom from the Mughal authority, right? So, and freedom here, like you children can notice one thing, the freedom also have different meanings. Freedom for me can be something.
Yes, ma'am.
Freedom for you can be something different. Right now, here the freedom doesn't mean that they wanted democracy. No. They did not want democracy or something like that. They just wanted
independent
from the Mughals. That's it. And they wanted any Sikh king to rule them. So kingship or monarchy was still there. It has not been ended, but yes, they were not happy with the rule of the Mughals, right? They wanted freedom from the Mughal rule. Okay.
Ma'am, but in the century of 1800, the Mughal Empire was totally finished.
Yes, it was. It just broke. Here we're talking about 1708, early 17th century.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So they wanted this. Now, how did they do it? Sixth declares their sovereign rule. Sovereign rule means they are independent rule, which means now they are ruled by themselves. Nobody else is ruling them. That is why, if you see the Constitution of India, it is also mentioned that India is a sovereign country, which is ruled by the people of it. No foreign forces are ruling us. Okay, not ruled by any foreign force. That was it. They declared their sovereignty by striking coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh. Striking coins means by minting coins. They made their own coinage. Okay.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
people are going to make your own coinage today. Will you make it?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thappad bahut zor se, that's
Ma'am,
it.
what?
This is not done, beta. Why will you not make?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
what we have to make?
You have to mint coins of your own. I have shared the video with you.
Ma'am, paper से ना लेके.
Okay, ma'am.
You did not.
Ma'am,
see
that
the video.
medieval coin, fake
Ma'am,
medieval.
ma'am.
medieval coin video.
Yes, I have shared a video.
Ma'am,
Krishna, you can see that.
Yes,
video.
Very
ma'am.
tough.
Ma'am, we can
ma'am, we
make.
have to make a video.
You have to. I have shared a video. In that video, they have mentioned how can you make coins. Daksh, you don't need to follow each and every step. Just try to grasp the idea from it, and then just try to make the coins by themselves. If you do not have an oven,
And
use.
we have to show tomorrow in class.
Hanji?
Ma'am, we have to show that tomorrow in class.
Yeah, you can show it to me. Show it to me tomorrow in the class. You can make a video of yours making it. A picture of share a picture of the coins that you have made. Just go through the video. No, these things you should know.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Daksh, you are going to
Yes.
get something. It's not done. You cannot say no like that. Okay. So yes, they minted coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh and established their own administration between Satluj and Yamuna. What are Satluj and Yamuna, children?
River.
they both are
Yamuna,
rivers.
Satluj-
Yamuna in
Rivers.
Uttar Pradesh.
Ma'am,
Sorry,
rivers.
Yamuna in Delhi. And
Ma'am,
Satluj
they
is
are. Ma'am, they are.
Can
Ma'am,
you
they
tell
are
me why
rivers.
Punjab is known as Punjab?
Satluj.
Why Punjab is known as Punjab? That's what the question is.
Because of
Punjab. Ma'am, this
ma'am,
is
because
very.
of its famous dish.
Panj means Panch, right? Panj in
That's
Punjabi
5 rivers.
and Ab means rivers. This area is drained by 5 rivers. That's why it is known as Punjab.
Satluj. One
Now
is.
this is your homework. Tomorrow you will tell me the name of those 5 rivers. Okay?
I will tell you today only.
Okay.
Any five.
Not any 5. The 5 rivers which Punjab is drained with. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So right, so they minted coins in their name, and the Band Bahadur was captured in 1715. He was captured and he was sentenced to death at Delhi in 1716. Who did this? Who captured and sentenced death to him?
Ma'am, Mughals.
Right, the Mughals did that.
And Mughals.
But by the 1800s, the Sikh managed to carve out an independent kingdom. As we know, as Sushant mentioned, in the 1800s, the Mughal rule already shattered. Right? So it diminished, and that's how they managed to carve their own kingdom, independent kingdom, and they remained independent until the Britishers annexed them. Right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Vita?
Ma'am, I want to tell one fact about Kohinoor diamond.
Yes, please, Sushant.
Ma'am, it's good that Kohinoor diamond is not in India and it should never be in India.
Why?
Ma'am, because it said that, ma'am, can I tell in Hindi? कोहिनूर हीरा जहाँ पर भी रहता है वहाँ तबाही होती है.
It is just.
I mean, it is fake.
It is just a saying.
अरे
Okay, now tell me, from so long it is in the crown of the British Queen, huh? It is said that.
Ma'am, I thought that.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, I thought that again
Now
and
I tell
again.
you the real logic.
I saw that video.
The meeting is.
Ma'am.
Tell me very quickly.
मैम अगर उस डायमंड से तबाही होती मैम तो अभी तक ऑस्ट्रेलिया में क्यों नहीं हुई?
Exactly, and you should speak in
Ma'am,
Hindi.
please see it.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have sent it. I've sent to you on personal. The 5 rivers of Punjab.
Okay, and I'll tell you one more thing. Good, beta. The one more thing is like it is believed that this Kohinoor diamond has never been put on a crown of a king. It is believed that a king, it has never been good for a king to wear the Kohinoor diamond. That is why
Ma'am, it
most of
is
the time,
on
the
queens.
queens have worn it. Even in India and there as well. Whenever a king tried to capture it with themselves, the king has decayed. On the basis of this, they have made this fact. That is why since queen, it has
Ma'am, what's the meaning of decade?
destroyed, barbad, khatam.
Okay.
Okay, right? Yes, I think.
Ma'am?
Asking something from Adi.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, decade is also known as a period of 10 years.
That is decade. DECADE. The decade which I am talking about, that is DECAYED.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
And ma'am, a period of 100 years is called millennium.
Yeah. Right. So I told you, children, are you finding your chapter interesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very.
So yes,
Ma'am, I found very interesting.
History.
it is very interesting. So we'll continue with the rest tomorrow. I hope you have understood it till here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Please,
ma'am.
just do
Ma'am,
me a
yes,
favor.
ma'am.
Do read the further ones as well. Just try to give it a
Ma'am,
read.
yes,
so that
ma'am,
tomorrow
I-
when you'll be reading
Okay,
in
ma'am.
class, no, it will be helpful.